The Ministry of Retro Gaming now welcomes Sorac's Space to the Ministry. State of the channel video for September 2018.
Since Spacies.
G'day invaders, welcome to Spacies, and this is the state of the channel video for September. And oh my god, we're up to September already, which means Christmas is not too far off. Has anyone out there got a console that they've got their eyes on? Maybe a Switch? Maybe there's a few of you out there that hasn't got a Switch yet. But anyway, yeah, Christmas is around the corner, so you guys should start planning. This is a video where I do a once a month look at the channel and just let you guys know what has happened on the channel. And I might just kick things off by mentioning a special shout out to Grumpy Retro Gamers. Grumpy Retro Gamers put together this really cool rap video that I took part in, and it was called Body Rock, Coin Up Body Rock, sorry. And it involved me and a bunch of other YouTubers just dancing and acting like idiots, and well, I'll speak for myself in that regards. And I'm really happy with the way this video turned out. So if you haven't already done so, get onto Grumpy Retro Gamers. I'll put the link down below. It is a really cool video, and I'm glad that I've been a part of that. Which reminds me, if anyone out there wants to do a bit of collab videos in the future, please contact me on Twitter or message me on one of my comments in the videos below. I'm always up to making myself look like an idiot. It's not something I will back off from. One of the big news for this month was that the Ministry of Retro Gaming has welcomed a new member, and that is Sorac Space. So if you haven't already done so, you should check out Sorac Space's channel. He's got this really weird sort of offbeat sense of humor, which I just love. In case you haven't already noticed that, I have a weird sense of humor, and his sense of humor is just right up my alley. So he was on my last podcast, so if you want to get a bit of a taste of what kind of a guy he is, that's a good place to start. But you really should go to his video, his channel, and check out his Pit Fighter review for the Mega Drive. That's a good place to start to get an idea of what kind of a dude you're dealing with there. So yeah, Sorac Space, welcome to the Ministry of Retro Gaming. And speaking of the Ministry of Retro Gamers, we haven't really done much on the Ministry lately since I've started. In fact, I've only really appeared on that rap video that you just saw before, but we're going to change that. We're going to be starting to do podcasts starting this weekend. I'll be starring in my very first podcast for the Ministry, and that will be on Sorac Space's channel. So if you want to catch that, that will be up in about a week's time, I'd reckon, about from now. No pressure, Sorac, so edit that in your own time. So we're going to kick off with the top 5 videos for the channel in the month of August. Number 5 was my Shenmue real life locations video. That video has, you know, kicked off a little bit with the announcement of Shenmue HD coming out, and a lot of people getting curious, yeah, what is this Shenmue thing all about? Well, I was lucky enough to go to Yokosuka near Yokohama, and I was able to walk down the very famous Doboita Street, which is the main strip in that Shenmue 1 game. So if you haven't already done so, the link will be around here somewhere. I'll put that in. So yeah, my look at the real life location of Shenmue was the number 5 video. Number 4, well, speaking of Shenmue, was my Shenmue HD review. That review really took a lot out of me, and I'm glad it made it to the top 5 list, because yeah, doing a review now just takes so much out of you. In a game like that, you really need to spend hours and hours of capturing all the hours of footage just to put together a 15 or so minute video. And it takes a lot out of me in doing the actual writing the review, doing the voiceover, editing. Yeah, it's a bit of a task, but I'm really glad with the end result. There will be a Shenmue 2 HD review coming very soon. I split it into 2 because I figured it was 2 separate games, just happened to be packaged as one retail package. And that review for Shenmue 2 will be coming up on the channel later. I'm still yet to get through to the end of Shenmue 1 in the game, and then I'll be carrying over that data into Shenmue 2 for the Shenmue 2 review. So that's coming up very soon. Number 3 was my Sonic Mania Plus, the Japanese version unboxing. That got mentioned on Nintendo Life, and that nintendolife.com is a very good channel. You should website, I should say. You should check that out if you haven't already done so. But they mentioned my unboxing on one of their articles, and I got a fair bit of views out of that. So thank you to all the guys at Nintendo Life for taking the effort to put my little humble video up on your channel, on your website. And also coming in at number 2 was my rant. I don't do these too often, but this was something that I figured I had to discuss, and that was the IGN issue with Philip Mewson, the guy doing the plagiarizing. Funny thing about that video too, a bit of a side note, in case if you watch that video, this is kind of like an update to that. Now when I recorded that, there was a couple of things that still weren't completely known at that time of recording that video, and that was that Philip, and I think I hinted on it anyway, was that he was suspected of doing other plagiarism articles in the past, or plagiarized articles in the past, and it kind of got confirmed. So in the end, IGN made the right decision in giving him the boot, I would have to say, and that's the more very, very popular opinion. There's very few people out there sympathizing with Philip, and I don't know, I don't sympathize with him. I just sympathize with the fact that he's got a family and whatnot to support and look after. But having said that, he probably should have thought about that before he started doing what he did. Absolute no-no. You don't go copying your work from other source material. It is just absolutely not on. So yeah, anyway, IGN have really addressed this in a very harsh but formal manner, I'd say, and I don't think you'll be seeing much more in the way of plagiarized material on IGN moving on from here. At least they won't be able to get away with it as easy as they had done in the past. It's just such a stupid thing to do in 2018. And the fact that this is the part that got me, he comes out afterwards a day or two later and apologizes by not apologizing, and then challenging the internet to come out and find, well, I dare you to find other stuff I've plagiarized. And the way the internet reacted to that was, all right, I'll take that challenge, you're on. And they found a whole stack of other videos that he had plagiarized. So yeah, FIFA I think was one of them. Fancy plagiarizing a review on FIFA. Seriously. Anyway, it just makes me wonder what was going on in that guy's head. Alright, enough of the rant. Number 1 was my podcast, the number 12 podcast, which was a very Sega gaming podcast, and that featured, here we go, gotta try and remember the list. It featured Lizzie the Hedgehog. It also featured Tim Gadler, the former Sega Hotline staff member that I used to work with. It also featured DJ Slope. If you are not familiar with DJ Slope, I think you probably need to get on YouTube more. He's on there everywhere now. And also the big guy himself, Al Nielsen, the guy that came up with the slogan, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. If you have not watched that podcast, I can only ask that you please do so, consider it. Yes, it does go for an hour and a half long. So it is a very, very long podcast. Watch it to the end though, because I was going to wrap that podcast up at the hour mark, and then Al starts talking about Michael Jackson. Now, when someone has had a hands-on experience with dealing with Michael Jackson, I wasn't about to end that podcast. If he's going to open up and talk about his dealings with Michael Jackson, I'm going to gladly record that and get that up on my channel. So please, if you haven't watched that podcast, you can see that the other guests on that podcast were just hanging on every word that Al was saying in that video. So it definitely is worth a watch. And even if you're not a big Sega fanboy like I am, or if you're a Nintendo fanboy, it is just interesting to watch the the other side of the coin. That is how Sega were approaching the console war. I know they're going to do a movie on it. I wish I'd hurry up and do a movie on console wars because I just think it's such an it's more interesting to me than the whole Pepsi Coke thing. It is just such a good story about how these two juggernauts fought it out during the console wars in the 80s, 90s. And anyway, watch that podcast. It is such a good story behind all that. So once again, I talk about my tweets, my top tweets for the month, because I have a fairly big Twitter account. I think I've got another 100 followers on Twitter in the last month, so yay me. But my top tweets was, well, the number one tweet for me was the reaction to Star Trek getting Patrick Stewart to sign on board for a new series. And of course, I just had to post something to say that, you know what that means, don't you? More memes. So, but in all seriousness, I'm a huge Trekkie, and I can't wait to see. I think he's going to be a more bitter, angry captain, not the, textbook version of a captain, what a captain should be. I got a funny feeling they're going to really delve into that guy's, that character's personality and reveal some dark truths about that character. So I don't know, it's all a mystery. No one knows anything about all that yet, but I think that's just going to be very exciting as a Trekkie. If you're not a Trekkie, I'll just move along and just get on to the next topic right now. My top mention was from Toby, and I'll put that tweet up here somewhere, and he was talking about how he took a day trip to Old Star Games in Brussels, UK, and somehow I got tagged in all that, and that's my top mention for the month. So thanks, Toby. My top follower was Marshall Julius, a BBC radio critic. Thank you. Yay. I don't know you, but I'm glad to see you following me. My top media tweet was me advertising the podcast. That was another push for people to watch the another Sega Gaming podcast number 12. And if you haven't watched the last one, which just got posted, you should be watching that too. I'm very, very proud of my podcast. They're the main feature on this channel. So probably should end up by letting you know what I'm going to have planned for the month ahead. I'll be, like I said, continuing on with the Shenmue 2 HD review, and I'll also be posting up free videos on my Challenge Spacies series. I've actually got what am I watching here? Oh, GameSack. I was going to say that I had Cameron in the room, so this is now, I think, only the third guest to have appeared in this room, invading the Synth Spacies mothership. We took out some GameCube games and played them for the videos for the channel. So they're coming up soon on the channel. Also, I keep promising this, but I'm waiting for the weather to get good. I'm going to be heading on to Cronulla to continue on with my Gaming Synth Spacies series 1980. I don't think you guys have to guess too hard what the game of the year will be for 1980, but I just want to continue on with that series because I think it's something that will be very interesting to have a complete look at all my years of gaming and go through them year by year. Also, the next video will be our pickups video. That's not going to be a very big one, but I have got one or two, slightly cool things that were either purchased or donated to the channel. So that's been my State of the Channel video for September. I'm glad that you guys have watched this right through to the end, and a big huge thank you to Benjamin and John Pensini and to all my other patrons. You can see the link down there below. Anyone that gets on board and becomes a patron will help contribute to the channel. I'm actually at the moment saving towards a webcam to put onto one of those monitors there so that my podcast will look a little better from here on, because at the moment I'm just using the stock standard computer webcam, and it's just not looking really all that good, to be honest. And I'm looking forward to doing some more collab videos like I mentioned before. Please, if you've got a channel and you want me to contribute to your channel in any way, please leave a comment below or direct message me on Twitter. I'm rambling. I think I will leave it at that. I'm going to go now and watch some more Star Trek. I'll see you guys later. My name has been Brian, and I've been gaming since Spacies. Thanks, guys.
Since Spacies.